you're not on the Bake Off this year. You're taking a year off, but you're
No, I am on Bake Off. I'm just not on the
judging.
celebrity.
Oh, the celebrity, the judging.
I stopped because I wanted some holiday. I'm getting on, Chris.
Well, you say that.
I need more time to go places and do stuff before I'm the wrong side of the grass.
Yes.
Is my new expression.
Have you ever been asked the question, one more meal?
Oh, I'm asked it all the time, and I keep changing my mind. The first thing to say is it depends what I had for breakfast and lunch. I think I'd like something like a cassoulet or some sort of bean stew, because you want something comforting and homely.
When did you go to the air fryer party?
Somebody lent me an air fryer because they thought I was I was a sour. Who needs an air fryer? What's the matter with a frying pan and an oven? If you've roasted something in the oven is a mess, and it takes longer to clean the oven than it did to roast the chicken.
Yeah.
The wonderful thing about an air fryer, it's like a non-stick frying pan.
Yeah.
You rinse it
And
under.
people rave about them.
He's a legend in the kitchen and on the telly, and now the dame is slaying the game once again with a new show. Prue Leith's Cotswold Kitchen continues Sunday morning at 10:30 on ITV1. So please welcome, the sun always shines on, Prue Leith!
Oh, let's hear for Prue in the house today! Frank Lloyd Wright.
Perfect.
That's
Gosh,
who I was.
that is just so flattering.
That's who I was thinking about.
Yeah, wonderful.
I'm talking about your house. So Prue's here. Dame Prue Leith, Prue Leith's Cotswold Kitchen Season 2. Here we go, everybody. So much to talk about, Prue. Let's talk about the house first of all, because we've just been talking about the house off the air, haven't we?
Because I know, and because it's all filmed in my kitchen, in our house.
Yeah.
Everybody sees every detail of my house. I'm not sure this was a good idea. But I'm very proud of the house because it's very modern and it's in the middle of the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
And, that was a bit of a miracle to get planning permission. But we did, and it's wonderful.
I'm very jealous of the box because I love that shaped house.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's very Frank Lloyd Wright, isn't it?
It is
So you've got traditional and you've got this sort of new bit on the end, but it's retro in a way. They would call it a mid-mod style.
I like that, mid-mod.
Mid-mod sounds nice.
Well, we were trying. It is the Cotswolds, and so it is built of Cotswold stone.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want that. We had a couple of architects who we looked at, but their ideas were so boring. They were just Cotswold Lego. Yeah. Just exactly the same thing that you see everywhere.
Rinse and repeat. That kind of thing going on.
So we wanted something a bit different. And inside it's lovely because there's a sort of circular atrium, which is just all white and plain.
Yeah.
And I'm really determined not to put a single picture on the wall because the sort of round atrium looks like sculpture itself.
Yeah. So you don't interrupt the flow.
Yeah.
And then you get the vista of the Cotswolds themselves. I mean, we haven't seen, or I haven't seen on the show yet, a view from inside outside. Do you have that big view?
Fantastic view.
Loads of sky,
yes,
big skies.
Big sky and sort of rolling Cotswolds in 360 degrees because when we have a terrace outside our bedroom and we can walk right round on the top and we can see one house in the distance to the north and one house to the west, but very far away and very pretty. I mean, they look as if they were built in order for us to have something nice to look at.
A bit of perspective, almost. Do you have the dark skies then at night, so you see all the stars?
We do.
So
and we have. What's the best thing that's happened, which actually we have we do show on the show, is that John and I have always been keen to try to attract birds, and so when we first went there, we put up lots of bird boxes, and the only things that occupied them were squirrels and rats. So that wasn't quite what we wanted. So then we hired a guy called Jimmy, who's a sort of bird freak.
Yeah.
He's absolutely wonderful. And he said, the thing about putting up bird boxes is you have to have the right shape, the right height. Some birds like a view. Some birds like to be all cosy and enclosed and hidden. And the size of the whole of the bird box will make, determine what will be. And now we have the raptors. We have tawny owls, little owls, barn owls, two sets of barn owls, and chicks. And it's just so exciting, and we have to ring them. And so in the show we have all these baby chick. I mean, I never thought I'd have a wildlife program, but I tell you what.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because I saw the owls yesterday when I was watching the show, The Baby Owls. I mean, owls are cool anyway, but baby owls said, like, forget puppies, take a back seat. You need to leave town because the baby owls just moved in.
Exactly.
They're awesome. I was going to talk to you about the owls. And then there are stars of the show. I mean, unfortunately, the baby owls upstage everybody that's on the show, even Lulu, even yourself, even John. We're going to talk about John comes and helps sometimes in the kitchen.
John is busy upstaging me. That's what's happening.
Well, he's giving it a go, isn't he? But he's taking orders from the mothership, as always. And then you go and see the wildflower lady, and he goes to see... So the other people appear on the show, local producers, local farmers. Who else has been on the show, other than the stars?
Well, John went... I mean, for example, if you think of free-range eggs, I think of free-range eggs, I think of very tiny producers, usually the farmer's son or something, who has a little business. And what he's doing is he's got chickens that are running all around the farmyard, and he's picking the eggs up from under bushes and stuff. And sometimes they're bad because they've been under the bushes for 2 or 3 weeks, And we've stopped buying those eggs because they're so unreliable.
Right.
Not always, but ours were. But this guy that John went to visit has 30,000 hens or something. I mean, it's huge. But they all live in woods and in barns, and the hens are extraordinary. We think they're stupid, but they spend all day outside, and then they go and lay their eggs in a very modern manner, which are then, go along as you would expect. They lay them, and then the eggs go along a little conveyor belt and get packed automatically and all the rest of it. And they're the most delicious eggs. And by the way, tip thing, if you can buy pullets eggs, they're much better value because you get more yolk per, as opposed to white
per portion
in a pullet's egg.
Yes.
And nutritionally, it's supposed to be better. I forget all the reasons, but if you watch the program,
no, I get it. And the thing about the program, well, there's so much about the program. It's not just a cookery show. There is definitely cooking on it, of course there is, and your kitchen features quite a lot. But it does have this lovely format to it, doesn't it? And there's a guest star, but the star's not there for the whole show. They have their own bit. It's beautiful. Yeah. And what I love about it is you can't help but give us these tips, these super hacks all the time, like the peeling the tomatoes hack, which you learned via necessity because you used to get a rash, didn't you?
Yeah.
So give everybody the tomato hack, then we'll get onto the bashing of the garlic hack, and then we'll get onto the slicing of the onion hack, because you do this all. You can't help yourself because you've done it for so long.
Exactly. I'm a teacher at heart.
It's brilliant.
I keep telling people one thing. But what I like most of the show is because it's filmed on an absolute shoestring.
Right.
So, I mean, we wouldn't have time to retake anything anyway, or the money to do it. But I like that because when I mess up, which I frequently do, I just say, well, that wasn't so good, but never mind, it'll still taste good. And what you do is and then because nobody in real life would throw away something just because it didn't look perfect, or because the pastry was cracked. In the first show in this season, I turned out for Lulu, actually, her favourite chocolate pudding, which we used to make in the restaurant years ago when she used to come to my restaurant. And so I recreated this thing, and I took it out of the oven too soon, and I turned it out and it collapsed. It was still delicious.
Still gorgeous. I know you're talking about it, yeah.
But I like the sort of grounded reality of it, that this is for ordinary people who are never going to throw anything away. And
to the extent that you champion frozen mash.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not championing it. I say if you want to peel potatoes and boil them and mash them, and it gives you pleasure, fine. I sometimes do that, especially when we've grown our own potatoes.
Yeah, and you.
But otherwise, what's the matter with frozen mash? The point about everybody worries about what sort of food you should buy from the supermarket, and my thing is very simple. It's if the ingredients are what you'd make at home. If you look at the ingredients on mashed potato, it is potato and butter and salt. Yeah. That's it. They haven't got, emulsifiers and all sorts of garbage. I love that little mantra, never buy anything that your mother wouldn't understand. So if you look at the ingredients and if it's got stuff in there that you have no idea what it is, don't buy it.
Sounds like some kind of scientific formula or something like that.
These things are made to make to stabilise them, stop them curdling,
or going off,
keep
or whatever
them
it is.
longer, and all the rest of it. But most of us don't keep food for.
Nor should we.
We don't need it to hang around for.
So
2
I
weeks.
love the frozen. I did love the frozen mash. It took me by surprise. It arrested me in front of the telly yesterday afternoon. I also loved the air fryer. The air fryer gets a lot of air time, doesn't it?
Well, it did in that programme.
When did you go to the air fryer party? When did you join the air fryer?
Well, rather belatedly, somebody lent me an air fryer because they thought I was being, I was a seller. Who needs an air fryer? What's the matter with a frying pan and an oven? And then, so it sat in my kitchen, and I didn't really use it much. And then I thought, this is stupid, I should try. So I moved it to where I could see it. So instead of picking up a frying pan, I'd sometimes. And then I discovered that what it is so brilliant at, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't do anything particularly better than an oven or a frying pan, but it does things so. But if you've roasted something in the oven is a mess, and it takes longer to clean the oven than it did to roast the chicken. Yeah. So the wonderful thing about an air fryer, it's like a non-stick frying pan.
Yeah.
You rinse it under.
People rave about them. We still haven't joined the air fryer party. The air fryer party festival.
Yeah, we've got one, and then you use it loads for a bit, and then it only comes out about once every 2 weeks, I would guess.
Have you found that or not?
Well, it depends if I'm at home, because I'm away a lot. But yes, I think you're quite right. I think you can get. I mean, you have to make an effort to use it because it's not in your head. But it does do the job very well. It's brilliant for things like things like bacon or chicken thighs.
Yeah,
or
and roast potatoes is apparently great.
Warming up a pie.
Roasting things.
Really
crisping up a pie or re-crisping a pie.
And it crisps up a pie without making it soggy. If you put it in the microwave, it gets soggy.
Now, talking about that, you do a killer quiche in the show. And again, there are super hacks. John has a little go at his quiche base, and you say, John, not like that, like this, a bit more like that. And then you do something, and we can't see what you do, but it's like magic. Because that's what you do, because you're so good at it. You do a. I've never cooked a curry. One of the things you say these things on the show that explode in my head. Go, that's what I needed to hear all these years. And one of the things you say when you cook in your curry is, well, as you add the various ingredients, you just cook them enough until you can smell them, and then they're probably okay by then.
Yeah, that's for if you're frying spices. They release their aroma when they're ready. Same with garlic.
What a great tip! That's so cool. That's such a sensory trigger, isn't it?
It is.
It's like that's what you want.
It's important to stop frying them at that moment, because if you leave them on a little bit too long, spices burn very quickly.
Yeah.
And then they taste bitter and horrible.
So with the air fryers in there over the years, the various tech that's come to the kitchen, some has stuck around, some hasn't stuck around. I was a very late convertee rather to the microwave. I was so anti the microwave. Then Mary Berry schooled me in the microwave. I said, obviously, Mary, you like me. I bet you think the microwave is Satan. And she went, not at all. And she got me to that party. So you've got air fryer, microwave. Other big tech advances that seem to have stuck around?
I think my favourite machine in the whole kitchen is called a RoboCoupe. And the modern RoboCoupe, if you were buying it today, does everything. I think, God knows, it could fly Concorde or something. It can make cakes and roast chickens and stuff, which I'm not interested because I do that elsewhere. But I have a very old-fashioned RoboCoupe. I've had it for 45 years. It's basically a big, strong blender.
Right.
And it heats. It can heat. It heats, or you can do it cold. So it's so robust that it will grind up bones which I add to the dog's food.
Don't mess with the RoboCoupe.
Yeah. Oh no, don't. Yeah, it'll grind up bones. It'll grind ice into icy fluff in a second.
Right.
And it's
never heard of the RoboCoupe, have you?
And you put a few frozen slices of bread or not frozen, give it brrr like that, and you've got breadcrumbs.
All right, that's it. RoboCoupe today purchased. Forget the air fryer. It was nearly the air fryer. It's going to be RoboCoupe. Things that haven't made the grade. and I'm just guessing again, this could be another Mary Berry microwave moment, the electric carving knife.
I'd never have that.
Do you remember the adverts?
Yeah.
So the electric carving knife is a definite no. Magimix, Multimix.
I just think one thing about the knife. I mean, if you have what I am absolutely obsessed about is sharp knives.
Yes.
And if you can't sharpen a knife, and it is a fag to learn how to
wield it,
to wield a proper
a whetstone or a belt or whatever, a strap.
There is a brilliant machine, an electric machine that has slots in it. I forget what it's called, but it costs a bit of money. But honestly, if you put your knife through that every time you use it, it stays as sharp as the day you bought it. And if you've got a sharp knife, you do not need an electric knife.
No, sharp knife, great. And also, we were given one by Tom Courage, and it's one knife. It's the knife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other great recipes. It's just in the first 2 episodes. I watched the one with Lulu and the one with lovely. She used to be a model.
Kelly Brook.
Kelly Brook, yeah. And there we these are just those 2 episodes. Haggis. We eat a lot of haggis, said Prue. I don't eat a lot of haggis, but I sort of wish I did because I love haggis. Overnight oats, you had all that going on there. The frozen mashed potato got a look in. As I say, you had the quiche going on. You had the chocolate chocolate pudding thing with Lulu. You had all that going on. And then you do the killer chopping hacks. The onion thing. So the onion thing is you chop off the bulb, but not completely, because what you leave of the bulb holds the rest of the onion together whilst you're dicing and slicing.
If you leave don't chop through the root.
Yeah.
So that the root will hold the onion together as you're making the slices in different directions. But so Chris, I've got about a year ago I brought out a new cookbook, and I was very proud of the fact that it's the first cookbook with a barcode on, QR codes on it.
Which is brilliant.
So that you can actually watch people do this. Because if I explain to you how to chop an onion, it's so wordy and so difficult to understand. And, you lose the will to live. I think if you see people really nowadays often learn to cook from YouTube.
Yeah.
It's because you're watching it.
YouTube's
so much
great,
better.
man.
And exactly, it's really good for learning. And so, not everybody will see the show, but you can watch it on.
It's so cool, so cool. Peri Peri chicken's in there as well. It's all wonderful. Have you ever been asked the question, one more meal? Your death row question.
I'm asked it all the time, and I keep changing my mind.
What do you have a latest? Do you have an update? Do you have breaking news on?
No, I mean, obviously, first of all, the first thing to say is it depends what I had for breakfast and lunch. You know, but so if this is my last dinner, but I think I'd like something like a cassoulet or some sort of bean stew, because you want something comforting and homely.
The beans, your tip for getting the beans out of the jar without crushing them. So you get a rubber spatula, but you don't hoof them out. You start to swirl the spatula and they will spiral out as if some kind of mole is going mechanical.
Exactly.
That's an amazing tip, Prue.
Yeah, well, I love those beans. They're a revelation.
You say mashed beans are fine, but if you want them whole, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
You're not on the Bake Off this year. You're taking a year off, but
no, I am on Bake Off. I'm just not on the celebrity.
Oh, the celebrity, the judging.
The only one I don't do is celebrity. I do the Great British Bake Off, the one everybody knows, and I do the Great American Baking Show. But I don't do celebrity. And the best thing is, I stopped because I wanted some holiday. I'm getting on, Chris.
Well, you say that.
I need more time to go places and do stuff before I'm the wrong side of the grass.
Yes.
It's my new expression.
Okay.
I don't want to be the wrong side of the grass. So I've given up celebrity Bake Off, and the best thing is that Caroline Waldegrave, who's been my principal at my cookery school, Leith School, for 20 years or something, all the time. We opened the school together, and so we worked together for years and years and years, and now she's replacing me on celebrity.
Didn't know that. So is that in Kensington Park Road still?
No, we moved to Chiswick.
Right, because I used to live 4 doors away from you at Kensington Park Road. I used to pass your...
You know, that restaurant is now occupied by Claire Smith with Core, and she is the best chef in the world, officially. Best female chef in the world, and the 9th best chef in the world.
Right, not just in your opinion. That's
Whatever it is, whoever does these things.
Prue, you've come all this way to see us, all the way from the lovely Cotswolds. We've prized Prue Leith away from the Cotswolds to be with us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Chris, it's always an absolute pleasure.
I love you.
Well, I love you. So
Dame Prue Leith, Prue Leith's Cotswold Kitchen continues. You can watch it all on ITVX. That's how I watched it yesterday afternoon. And I had to sort of force myself to turn it off, otherwise the day would have disappeared, because that's how alluring and seductive it is. Let's hear it for Dame Prue Leith, please, if you don't mind. Prue's Cotswold Kitchen Season 2 continues Sunday 10:30am on ITV and ITVX, but it's all there to be watched, and that's Series 1 and half of Series 2 on ITVX. Thank you.